Hi guys, welcome back to the Gear Shed. Got another gear review for you, and today we're looking at the 3F's ultralite gear single skinned tent. This doesn't really have a name. I think they call it Pedestrian 1 when you look on the AliExpress listing. Essentially it's all I can work out, it is a copy of a Big Sky International Wisp, which is an American tent. Now, bear in mind, the American tent is about £209 here in the UK. I think it weighs about 535 grams. This one cost me £64, landed from AliExpress. And with the tent and the pegs and the pole, is 774 grams. So there's only a couple hundred grams difference for £150. So, yeah, bit of a saving in money there. So we're going to pop it up for the first time. I'll just go through in a minute what we've got here. We'll put it up and have a look at it. I've got my large Neo Air X-Lite mat, which will pop in there, and we'll see if it fits me. It'll be the first time. It's evidently a little bit snug at one end, so we'll have a look at that when we get to it. Now, I've for a bit of scale, I've got some Heinz spaghetti here in the can. Gives you an idea. I haven't measured it, but it gives you a reasonable idea of sizing. Now, it comes with 9 of these little alloy pegs. Little star-shaped pegs. They're quite light, sort of standard fare stuff that you get from these Chinese tents. They'll be alright. They'll do the job for anything. This is a little pole though. This goes in the the foot end of the tent, so we'll see that when we get to it. But it's just a little standard aluminium pole with some little nubs on the end, so that's easy enough. So that's poles in the bag. It also comes with this footprint, which I haven't, in the weight I gave you before, I haven't actually included that in the weight. So this is probably something I'm not actually going to use myself. I'll probably just leave that at home, but we'll put it down on the grass here as we get going. So that on its own is 135 grams. Okay, it's quite a light silk nylon. So I'm not really big into my footprints, so I usually don't bother with those. So, just to give you a recap on weight. So the tent and the bag, so that's just the tent and the bag, there's no pegs or poles or anything like that in it. So 636 grams as it is. The poles, this little baby pole and these pegs together, that's 133 grams. Now, as I said, these are quite light pegs. I've got some titanium ones, and to be fair, these are probably as light, if not lighter than the titanium ones, so there's really not going to be much benefit from getting rid of these and going to something lighter, because there's really not much in it. These are probably about 5 grams or something each, if that. So unless I go to titanium sort of shepherd hooks at 2 grams each, I'm not going to save much in the weight there. Right, so this tent you have to put up with a trekking pole. So we've got me trusty Lecky Makalu. Pop that guy, Makalu Kimbu. We'll put that guy up with it. So here we go. So what we'll do is, bear with me, I'll pop it up and I'll bring you back and we can have a good look at it. Just like magic, it's up. Right, so what we'll do is have a bit of a walk around, have a look at it, and I'll discuss my thoughts and reckoning and why I purchased this, and then give you an idea of the actual true measurements of it, because the measurements are slightly different to what was online AliExpress. So this is a single skin shelter with it's got basically an insect mesh partition. I'll come around this way and have an insect mesh partition between you and the single screen. Now, what's interesting on this particular model, as opposed to the Big Sky Wisp, International Wisp, that I think this is kind of like copied off, this has far better venting than the Wisp. A lot more venting. There's a big head vent here. Nice big one. It's got a stiffener and these tie-outs that pull it out. And then the whole back end of this and the foot department underneath this little cover is actually mesh as well. And this is where that little pole is that we saw before. Goes up into this little sleeve, and that gives it that sticky uppy bit. So that whole section in there behind this flap, this cowling, is mesh. So it should give, compared to the Wisp, the Wisp there was a lot of complaints when you look at the reviews for that tent to do with condensation. I'm not saying that this is going to have any less. It's kind of the nature of the beast. But it does have better ventilation than the Wisp. We'll go and have a look at also the door as well. There's a slight difference to the door. Now, overall quality-wise, is pretty much what I've come to expect from the Chinese. of their own brands. It's actually very, very good. Stitching is all pretty solid. Everything is tight. All the little tie out points all nicely box stitched. All the hardware is really good. Pegs are pretty average, but it is a peg's what you peg. It's all seam sealed. The fabric feels really good. It's very, very light. I think they say it's 15 denier. Silicone on the outside, PU by the or something. See, a lot of these tents are saying that they're silicone both sides, but they seam seal them. So unless they've come up with a way to do that, who knows? The other interesting thing. So all the reinforced tie-outs are actually glued or laminated to the sawn nylon. So that's actually stuck on, there's no stitching. And that's the same throughout the entire tent. So all these little points in here, they're all glued on. Same down here, we'll look at it on the inside. They're all glued on, they're not actually stitched on. See all the bar tacking and everything. Pretty top notch really, for 65 quid. Yeah, you can't go wrong for quality. It's certainly right up there. And what I've been finding with all these different tents have is we kind of have 3F's UL gear, and then we also have Nature Hike, and they're pretty much head to head for quality, followed closely by Axeman, which is the other green. If you look at any of my other videos, little green trekking pole tents, an Axeman one. It's pretty mediocre, that one, and actually costs more than this, which is interesting. So yeah, so that's the setup. Single pole. It's got this big door in here. Now this, you can use this two different ways. You can also roll it up, I think. You can use this side. So hang on, let me just undo this. Never going to get that back on again with one hand. But it comes. You can come to put that down to, zip that down to here, put your peg in, and then open this side up, which might be a little bit better getting in and out of it. You're going to get, it's one of these shelters where you're going to get some water on the inner, due to basically the configuration of it. But what I was thinking, the other thing you can do is use your second trekking pole and make an awning up to some degree. You could or you could do a bit of Velcro or something to actually give you an awning, so you could do that, and that would keep, as long as the wind's not blowing massively, you could have that as like a little tie out. Put your pole in there. Be a little bit hard to get in and out of, but it would give you a bit more ventilation. I think the key to this is getting as much ventilation through as possible. Now zipper wise, this is a double-ended zipper. It is a waterproof zipper like you have on a jacket. It's got a little garage, which isn't that great, but I think from the inside, because it's double-sided zips, you could slide that up in there a bit better. Top part, again, laminated. It's got a reinforced patch. You can actually feel that it's glued on. A bit rougher, probably the glue interface. And then it's got a little tie-up point on the top here. See, stitching's a little bit pulled on there. We'll see how we go. But I think with this being laminated, I don't have to worry quite so much about the seam sitting at the top. So overall, it's a nicely put together little tent. It's got an extra little tie-up point on the fly. We'll bring that out to there, and then we'll jump in and have a look and give you an idea of sizing. Oh, come on, play the game. So my thoughts behind this is although if you watch any of my other reviews, I have had a lot of problems with condensation in tents. I think I'm being a bit of an idiot going for one that is basically guaranteed to get condensation. The whole idea is that this one I can use instead of a bivy bag. I have got bivy bags, but bivy bags essentially suck, and then you end up having to take a tarp to get any form of weather protection. And I'm thinking if you're going for a sort of a single overnight walk, this would do it. Get a bit of a condensation one night, it's not the end of the world. Maybe 2 nights you're pushing it. Multi-day walks where it's going to be hot and humid is possibly not the best place for this thing. But it's light, it's small, packs down, put in your pocket, and it's basically less than a bivy bag, and you get more protection. So let's jump on in and have a look at dimensions. So this is the inner sort of sleeping compartment. so that there is no inner. Like I said before, this is basically a all-in-one. So down on this side, this is the fly down to the floor. This stuff's always very light material. I mean, the floor's quite light. Same thing we've learnt to expect from all these ultralight tents, regardless of brands. Everybody's cutting down the weight of floors and flies to try and keep their weight down. Like anything, it's very similar to the Nature Hike Cloud Up 2 floor that I've got, and that seems to have held up. My mate used that on the True de Mont Blanc, so that's 14 days of constant use, and he hasn't got any holes or anything in it, so that's worked out well. So let's have a look. Down the foot end, we have that orange section. There's where the pole goes into. Down on the floor, it's all reinforced. It's got a little reinforcing patch that's all glued on. It's all laminated on. All the corner reinforcements are laminated, like I said before. Now, let's have a look at dimensions on this puppy. So width from the very bottom, side to side, is 550 mils. I'm going to do it in millimeters, sorry guys, so bear with me. 550 mils. Now, from the bottom, from the very here to here in the center, bearing in mind this is sloping down, from there to there, I measure 350 mils, which is 50 mils less than what they state. So we will see. We'll see whether it all fits. And then from the foot end to the head end, so from that end to that end, I measure 2,150 mils, so 2.15 meters. All right, and then side to side, the widest point is a meter from there to there. From there to there, it's 1 meter. And then the back part, I make that out to be about 800 mils for that bit here, that back to there. So it's not massively spacious. It's kind of not what it's designed for. But hey. And then headroom height. So in the center here, on the center pole, from the very bottom to the top, up in here, I make it out as, what did I say? It's 1,250 mils, so 1.25 meters with the trekking pole. Now the trekking pole does slope in. It's not vertical, so, and it is out of the way, so it doesn't actually get in the way getting in out of the door, which is good. Now, let's jump in here, take the world's ugliest Crocs off. Right, and we'll jump in and have a look. So, as I said, I'm sitting on my Neil Air X-Lite mat. It's a large one, so it is a bit of a beast. It is quite long. It's quite thick. I think these are 3 inches thick or something along those lines. So you are getting it quite a fair bit off of the ground. It's not as tight as I expected. So I think my feet will be touching. I mean, it's not far off from touching. Whether that's going to be a problem or not, I don't know. Let's throw. Sorry, I'm sitting on it. I've got my Alp Kit cloud cover down quilt here that I've bastardized. So let's put me stuck me hoofs in the bottom of that and have a look at how much room I've got at the bottom. So you can't come. I'm on a bit of a lean here, guys. So see if that helps. So we'll be touching a bit. Whether, as I said, whether that is a problem. It's not going to be too much problem on this side because that's just mesh, and there is a bit of a gap between that and that. But it's just on this side whether we'll get much of a condensation issue. Yeah, I mean, what I am thinking of doing is actually to utilize this is to use a synthetic quilt to minimize any problems condensation wise. Now let's go around the other way. See my ugly face. So down this end, so I'm just on 6 foot. Had a remeasure the other day. I thought I was 6'1", but not. I'm just on 6 foot. So my head, there's a little bit of room there. I could probably pull that out a bit more. I haven't done that up as tight to pull that away from your head. But as you can see, it's not super huge. Very hot in here though. It's not exactly cold outside. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we get on condensation wise. But as I said, for one night, for an overnight or maybe 2 days max, it's not the end of the world. Like I'm running my hand in here now and it's been up for a while and I've been breathing in it. It's not the end of the world condensation wise, but as I said, I can muck around with the door a little bit, tie the door out a bit more so that if it is raining I can sort of shelter the doorway but leave the doorway open, which might be beneficial. So yeah, this is the 3FCUL lightweight shutter. Fully impressed so far. Not a huge amount of things. One other guy in the UK that did a review on this, and he did a very good job of it, so I won't try and emulate him. I forget off the top of my head who that is, but I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, very well made. I am very surprised they're slowly up in their ante with their actual construction. It's very, the quality is definitely there. You know what, I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, if you want to say 200 grams, is it? About 200 grams, get the Wisp from Big Sky International, but you know, might be wasting 150 quid, because that's the difference. But yeah, so there we go. So just have a look at those vents. There's a big vent at that end, and then that whole foot area, there is all vent. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see really how this is all going to pan out. Zip is pretty good, and I think you're going to be doing a lot of the, what would have been good if they made a little cowling at the top so you could actually zip that down, because that gets, and I'll put a, you can make a little thing to open it up, but even a little micro tarp might be the way forward. It would only add a little bit more weight. We get them the ugly crocs. Just a little bit more weight for it. So I'm going to hopefully get out on this and use this a bit before summer ends. Do a couple of little lightweight one-dayers to give it a bit of a play. So far so good. Nice and light. Well made. Got lots of nice reflective tape on it as well. I think this is, that could be all, see, that's all even laminated now with a little stiffener. That's very clever. And that's all reflective tape down the bottom. So yeah, everything's just nicely finished. Do like it. Okay, so there we go. That's the first look. That's getting it out, give it a measurement. As I said, a lot of these Chinese tents, you get a differentiation between what they say on their specs and what actually comes true. But yeah, those are my measurements. I would think if you're over 6 foot, forget it. I think I'm probably just borderline for there. If you've got small feet, I've got size about 10.5 to 11 UK sizing, so my feet are quite large, so they will press against the top of the tent, I would think. But as I said, if I do a synthetic quilt, then it won't be as fluffy anyway, so it won't take quite as much room, and it'll be more resistance to the moisture. So here we go. So that's the 3F's UI Gear ultralight tent. So fire away with comments in the comments box if there's anything you want to know, you want me to measure anything, weigh anything. I think I've pretty much covered it, but see how we go. Remember to subscribe. More gear reviews coming. I've got a few more books. I've got another torch to do, and I've got yet another tent coming from China. I'm going to sell my good old Nature Hike Cloud Up 2 and go for one of the new ones. So stay tuned for that. That'll be another interesting adventure into Chinese tenting. So until then, thanks very much, and see you guys later.